Hey guys, I'm Dimension Jumper. Today I'm doing my favorite item from every 3D Legend of Zelda game. Now, the Zelda series is well known for its variety of items, and they all help you throughout the course of the game, whether that's in the various dungeons or just outside in the overworld. And yeah, I think they are a nice addition to the series because they obviously help you progress and also make you stronger. And yeah, that's a really, really interesting way of just playing the game. And also, there's a huge variety of them. And I think the 3D games have probably some of the best items in the game. I'm not saying that the 2D games have the worst. I think, personally, for me, if I had to say which ones are more memorable, I would probably say the 3D games have some more memorable items, I would say. So, yeah, and that's what this video is going to be talking about. And also, there is one main rule. I am not going to be repeating items. So, for example, the hook shot and the claw shot, I'm only going to be talking about that as a collective whole in one particular game. So, if I talked about it in Ocarina of Time, let's say, I can't then repeat it in a later section. So, yeah, it has to be one specific item from each of the 3D games. So, yeah. So, from Ocarina of Time is Din's Fire. Now, this is one of the many goddess powers you can get, because the other ones are, I believe, Faror's Wind and Nehru's Love. And out of those three items you can collect, I would say Din's Fire is probably my personal favourite and probably the best overall because of how much it does. Because what Din's Fire is basically a fireball thing that you can expand out of you. And you can do this to like either hit enemies or to do certain puzzles. And for example, in the area before you do the Shadow Temple, I believe, you have to use Din's Fire to hit all of the torches so that it can activate and you can go into the dungeon. And as I said before, it's a good way to fight off enemies, because if you're fighting against, let's say, a horde of enemies, you can use it to basically just clear the whole room away from the enemies, and that's good. So that's really fun, and I think, as I said before, it's the best one out of the goddess, or the golden goddess abilities you get. With Faror's Wind, I barely used it in any playthrough that I have done when it comes to either the original Ocarina of Time or the 3DS version. And with Nehru's Love, similar thing, I barely use it. I think when it comes to Din's Fire, it's the best one, and I think it outranks and outshines the previous two. So yeah, from Majora's Mask is the Stone Mask. Now, this is probably the best non-transformation mask in the game, because it lets you turn to stone, and the way to get it is fairly interesting and quite a good challenge, because in the original version, you have to have a Epona that you can't get until you've beaten the second temple in the game. And in the 3DS version, it's in the pirate hideout. And those are really cool ways of getting the mask, because the solution's the same. Use the Lens of Truth to reveal the guard and give him a red potion. And then he'll give you the stone mask. But the way to get them is quite different. The original version is quite easier, or a lot easier to collect. But with the 3DS version, it's a lot more challenging, because you have to try and knock out the pirates for a bit and then get the mask. And it's very useful. As I said before, it makes you invisible and makes you unseen by a good majority of enemies. I think some of the only examples, or the few exceptions, are probably bosses and mini bosses. And yeah, I do like its design. It's kind of like this. It kind of looks like if you took a bit of stone out of a cliff or a rock or something and just made it to a mask or something like that. And it's really, really cool and it's really fun. From the Wind Waker is the grappling hook. Now, this is a sort of hook shot. So it's kind of like the hook shot, but I don't think it works as well as the hook shot or the claw shots in the games that they do appear in. But with the grappling hook, I think it's quite fun. I do like how you can use it to steal things from enemies. It kind of reminds me of the whip in Skyward Sword, where with that you can swing over stuff, you can steal particular things from enemies like Bokoblin horns, or a key in the ancient cistern. But with the grappling hook, I think it's a real fun to use, and I do like how it's used in the boss fight that you get it in when you fight against Gomer, because you have to swing across the tail of the dragon. I don't know how to remember the name of it at the minute, but I think that using that item like that is a really interesting way of fighting the boss. And yeah, I think as a whole it's really useful when you want to collect items or just string across stuff. So yeah, from Twilight Princess is the Ball and Chain. Now this item you can get at Snowhead Ruins or Snow Peak Ruins, and this item you can collect from fighting the mini boss, and it's a really fun, destructive item. It's because you use it against Blasita in the dungeon, and I just like how it's carried, because Link just carries it and he kind of walks slowly, but he used it against the boss, and as well as in certain parts of the outside of the dungeon, because in the overworld you can use it to hit certain ice pillars, and then use it against hard, huge blocks that you need to push. And yeah, I think it's a really cool item, and I do like how it's used as a weapon in Hyrule Warriors. And I think it's mainly because it's how cool it's used in that game, because you can just use it just to hit a horde of enemies. And I do like how in that game, one of the versions of it is the Chain Chomp from Mario. So that's really, really cool. And in Twilight Princess as a whole, it's a very, very useful item in the Snow Peak Ruins, because it can take out those giant sort of monster ice things or ice monster things. And yeah, it's just a very fun weapon, but it's also a very stupid item as well. It's kind of very cool, but yeah, it's really cool, and it's really stupid. But it's stupid in a fun way. So yeah, from Skyward Sword is the claw shots. Now with the claw shots, they do appear in a variety of games, whether that's the claw shots from Skyward Sword or Twilight Princess, or as the hook shot from the previous games, so Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, and The Wind Waker. But with the claw shots, and I could guess the hook shots as a whole, they're very, very useful for a variety of stuff. So they help you get to higher heights, or to help you fight particular bosses. And I think when it came to Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword, the hook shot to claw shots was a very good transition, and I think giving you another one is a lot more useful than just the one, because then you can get even higher, and it doesn't have to just having you just climb up the vines or something, or the ledge, just so you can use your hook shot. And in Twilight Princess, I think giving you one at the start of the game is fun, but it's very annoying, because you just have the one and then you don't get it later till towards the end of the game, and then you can just use it to its full potential. But at least in Skyward Sword, you get two of them at the moment you get them, after you beat the second Sacred Realm. So that's fun. And it's just a very versatile item, and I think it's one of those items that's the most useful to use about in either the dungeons or in the overworld. So yeah. And for Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom is the Travel Medallion. Now, this item I think should be in both, or I think, well, what I mean by this is that for Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, it kind of felt a bit difficult to talk about any of the Sage or champion abilities, because they felt quite similar. But I feel like this is a good sort of compromise, I would say, in my opinion, because the Travel Medallion in both Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom is very useful, because what they are is basically a medallion that you can travel to, and you can place them anywhere around Hyrule, or if you're playing in Tears of the Kingdom, in the Sky Islands or in the Depths. And that is really fun, and I think with Breath of the Wild one, that's fun, and it's fine. It's a really cool item that you can get in the DLC. But once you've placed it down, you can't remove it until you've placed it in a new location. Now, into the Kingdom, it improved on that, but not by giving you not only 2 additional medallions, but also now you can collect all of them. So that now they're no longer cluttering up the map and just ruining like the Fenchway or all the other shrines, locations and the light routes and stuff like that. So Tears of the Kingdom did do a huge improvement over the travel medallions when it came to making that game, when it comes to like, when you compare it to Breath of the Wild's travel medallion. But overall, I would say the travel medallions are really useful in those games, just because you've got something that you can just move about and you can just use it for like specific things. So for example, let's say you're trying to find a Korok or find a bunch of Koroks, and you might put a travel medallion down, go do a few side quests, come back and do those remaining Korok seeds. And that's really, really cool. And I think it's just a nice way of just faster travel. And yeah, it's just so cool. And I think it's just a very fun item. So yeah. So those have been my favorite items from every 3D Zelda game. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next video.